gotta fight, 'cause there will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time. Oh, 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 oh. There will be a time.
Hey guys, welcome on in to another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends, free NHL picks. I'm Terry and ready to break down a Saturday slate. 13 games to talk about tomorrow, which we will get right into here. We don't have anything to recap. Of course, Friday's games have yet to start. The first game is starting here in a bit, so we'll have some live action. Well, we'll be talking about. I don't think I'll be having any live bets, but you never know. Jump into the chat here. Hell yeah, live betcast. Not quite a betcast, Ice, but yeah, we'll be breaking down tomorrow's games here. Let's get it. Yes, lots of good games to talk about tomorrow, and a lot of close games too. We have a lot of games that are pretty close when it comes to the odds, and of course, we'll have the parlay of the day at the end. We'll start the show by jumping right into the very first game here, which is between the St. Louis Blues and the Detroit Red Wings. This game happening at noon. So nice early afternoon game to start the day off. St. Louis plus 120 to plus 114 to plus 122. Detroit minus 135 to minus 145, 6.5s right across the board in this game. How these teams been doing recently? St. Louis, 2-3 in their last 5 games, 2 overs, 2 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. Detroit, 6-2-1 in their last 9 games, 3 of their last 6 games going over 6.5, and they've gone to overtime quite a bit recently. 4 of their last 7 games. How do these teams do against each other in the past? Detroit 3-2 in the last 5 meetings. 6 overs, 1 under, 1 game finished with 6 goals in the last 8 meetings. So we usually do see some goals when these two teams face each other. And should it be too big of a surprise? I'm starting the slate off with no single plays here for me in this game. When it comes to player props, parlay pieces, of course, we cash the parlay of the day with Patrick Kane. He's got a point in 6 straight games for the Red Wings. Lucas Raymond, a point in 2 of his last 3 games. JT Compher, a point in 9 of his last 12. For St. Louis, Robert Thomas has been their most consistent offensive player all season long. He's got an assist 6 of his last 7 games. Pavel Buchnevich has a goal in 3 of his last 4. So those are the players I would look at here for parlay pieces, but not getting anything. I'm not getting to anything singly in this game. I do like the Red Wings to win, minus 135, minus 140. I would rather use it as a parlay piece here, but I try, as I've said on previous shows, not to go heavy on the early Saturday afternoon games because things tend not to go the best for me there with the early games. But as we see here in a comment, we already have 1 confirmed goaltender for tomorrow. Alex Lyon confirmed for Detroit. James Reimer will start Sunday against Chicago. Nobody confirmed yet. Jordan Binnington is coming off a shutout win against the Islanders, so I would expect him to start in this game, but you never know. IceX likes the Wings on the puck line to take care of business. I like it. Owen, parlay of the day, money. Yes, hoping we can cash the parlay of the day today and then go back to it tomorrow. Wings minus 135, money line. I do like that. I do. Probably going to end up having it in a parlay piece. The Wings. I really like the way the Wings are playing right now. Line is confirmed already. That is correct from Hump Day Hockey. Kane's money line. Money. We will be getting to that game later on. I do as well, up on the Wings. So you like the Wings. All right. Reimer against Chicago and Bedard. Oh, baby, Hawks win. Interesting. Reimer was absolutely fantastic in his last start, which nobody saw coming. So obviously we'll see that game on Sunday when we get to it, but I won't do a show probably on Sunday, but that game probably won't be one that I'll get to. That's for sure. Moving on along to our second game of the slate. We've got the Montreal Canadiens and the New Jersey Devils. Montreal plus 180 to plus 200. The Devils minus 225 to minus 240. 6.5s right across the board. Here, no confirmed goaltenders. It has Primo against Doss listed. I would assume Montalban would go in this game. And Nico Doss has got the last 3 starts. 6-8-0, 3.32 goals against average, 895 save percentage. Look good for a couple of games, but this Devils team really needs to give Calgary a call and try to get Jacob Markstrom. I think if this team was to do something like that and add a goalie, Jacob Markstrom or UC Saros, I think it would really obviously help to have a good goaltender back there, but also rejuvenate the team and just really get the team going well. So the Devils need to go and get themselves a goaltender or they're going to miss the playoffs. That's my thoughts when it comes to the Devils. And I do believe they have it in them to go on a run. Just have not seen it yet. How these teams played recently. Montreal has lost 6 of their last 7 games, 1-6 in their last 7. 4 of their last 6 games going under 5.5. Having trouble scoring. That top line has gone cold the last couple of games. The Devils have lost 3 of their last 4. 2 overs, 1 game finished with 6 goals in their last 3. The Devils 5-3 in the last 8 games between the teams. 3 overs, 2 under. 1 game finished with 6 goals in this one. No single plays for me here. The best parlay piece in this game is Jack Hughes shots. 4 more shots in 8 straight games, 5 or more shots in 7 straight games, 6 or more shots in 6 of his last 7 games. If you have a book that allows you to ladder the shot props or adjust the shot props, Hughes is just shooting the puck. 10 shots in his last game. Have to look at shots on goal as a parlay piece for Hughes. Tyler Toffoli, a point in 4 straight games for the Devils. For the Canadiens, as I said, that top line has gone cold. Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky, but they're still the only players I would look at for Montreal. Cole Caulfield does have at least 4 shots on goal in 10 of his last 12 games. So if you want to look at Cole Caulfield shots, that would be what I'd look at for Montreal. Maybe do a same game parlay with Caulfield and Jack Hughes, both to get a certain amount of shots to whatever price you like. That could be a good route. Caulfield and Hughes both to get 4 shots would probably be a nice plus price. So that's what I would look at here in this game. Let's go back here. Patrick Kane, anytime goal and anytime assist, free money. We shall see. We shall see. I will have him as a parlay, so I hope so. Flames' weakness are the Sharks. That's why X Sharks Reimer. Okay, interesting. Pass in this game? Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Jack Hughes is pissed off losing 2 in a row. Shots and goal ladder, as Tommy says. Yes, completely agree. Devils and Reg minus 150 on MGM. Really at the top of my range for juice wise. Won't do this in other sports. If you really like them, go for it. Go for it. Ew. There you go. Nate Dogg. Or sorry, Kevin says Nate Dogg. All right for the Atlantic game. Hi Tara. Hi Kevin. Hope all is well. Meant Patrick Kane 88 on Sunday in the Chicago return. Okay. Okay. And yeah, that'll be interesting. That will be interesting for sure. We will jump on along to our third game of the slate. Finally, we've got a close game here. We've got the Tampa Bay Lightning minus 102 to minus 115. The Islanders minus 105 to minus 105 here in most spots. 6.5s right across the board in this game. How these teams been doing recently? Tampa Bay, three have lost five of their last eight games, 3-5 in their last eight, four overs, one under, two games finished with 6 goals. The Islanders, 3-4-3 in their last 10, so they've lost seven of their last 10, but they are getting to overtime in most games. Four of their last 6 games going over 6.5, three of their last 4 games going to overtime. Tampa Bay 6-2 in the last 8 games between the teams. Four of the last 5 games going over 6.5. This is my Picks and Parlays exclusive play. You can get it up on the site, picksandparlays.net. Link is in the description below. $25. The play is there. If it loses, you get your money back as store credit. So that play is available over on picksandparlays.net. Looking at player props, Brandon Hagel has a point in 11 straight games. You can go back further than that. He's been the Lightning's most consistent player, other than Kucherov. Braden Point has a goal in 3 of his last 4, at least 3 shots in goal in 5 of his last 6. So Point is doing really well. Nikita Kucherov has a point in 12 of his last 13 games for the Lightning. And for the Islanders, coming off that shutout loss against the Blues. So no points, obviously, in that game. But Matthew Barzal, point in 10 of his last 12. Noah Dobson, a point in 9 of his last 12. So you could look at either of those guys if you think the Islanders are going to score some goals. In this one, no confirmed goaltenders here. Should be Andrei Vasilevsky, who seems to start every game no matter what for the Lightning. Most likely against Ilya Sorokin here after Varlamov started the last game between these teams. Dun, dun, dun. LOL, mental outer Hughes and Nate Dog shots. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Super freaky pass next. Okay. Chicago hometown crowd will be cheering for both Showtime and the Cat. We love them both. Love we love the love in the UC is going to be stupid on Tuesday. Interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The Isles and the Bolts, 2 complete disasters, and I love John Cooper and the Bolts. There you go. 2 complete disasters, but I found a play in this game, and you can get it on picksandparlays.net. Moving on along to our next game, we've got the New York Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers here. The Rangers minus 135 to minus 135. Philadelphia plus 114 to plus 121. 6s right across the board. It does look like FanDuel has a 6.5 in this game. How have these teams been doing recently? The Rangers, 9 wins in a row, 3 overs, 2 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. Philadelphia, 5-1-1 in their last 7 games. They've gone over 6.5 in 3 of their last 4. The Rangers have dominated the Flyers, 8-0-1 in the last 9 meetings between the teams. 4 of the last 5 have gone under 5.5. This is right at my cutoff point at minus 135. But this Rangers team is rolling right now, rolling on all cylinders. They've won, as I said, 9 games in a row. 4 of their last 5 wins have been by multiple goals. So they're not just squeaking out wins. For the most part here, they are winning by multiple goals. Philadelphia is coming off a 3-1 win against Chicago. They had lost 2 games previous to that. The Rangers' domination over the Flyers is enough to put me on the Rangers here. minus 135, right at my cutoff point. And if you do like the Rangers and you want to bet them on the money line, I would suggest doing it now. I think if you're watching this show, if you're watching the show now on Saturday, I think the Rangers are minus 145, maybe closer to minus 150. So if you like the Rangers, I would suggest getting on them now. I don't think this line moves the other way. So I would look at the Rangers now if you like the Rangers in this game, which I do. Looking at player props, Chris Kreider, a point in 6 of his last 7 games. Adam Fox has a point in 5 of his last 7. Vincent Trocheck has a goal in 4 straight games for the Rangers. Mika Zibanejad, a point in 4 straight games, at least 4 shots on goal in 4 straight games. So Zibanejad shooting the puck. Trocheck's obviously shooting the puck. And only 1 shot in his last game, but he was still able to find the back of the net. So Trocheck has a lucky stick right now, and it may very well be on his goal scoring prop. If you want to know any updates to any player props that I'm on, the link to the Google Doc is in the description below. My Google Sheet, I will update that obviously in the morning when more prop lines are out. But most likely I'm going to be on Trocheck anytime goal. Konechny has a point 7 straight games for the Philadelphia Flyers. Owen Tippett has at least 3 shots on goal, 15 of his last 16 games. So I would look at Tippett shots as always. And then Morgan Frost, a point 4 of his last 6. I probably wouldn't go with him there. I would, if you're looking for a point prop, it's Konechny. And then a shots on goal prop, it would be Owen Tippett in this game. But I like the Rangers to continue their domination over the Philadelphia Flyers. Who do you like for shots tonight, Tara? Boldy 4 is plus 120. I like it. I haven't really looked at shots for the Wild tonight, but yeah, that top line, Boldy, Kaprizov, Ek, I would see shots from any of those 3. I would look at those 3, especially being on the top power play as well. Thanks. No problem. No problem. General public will move this line and hop on the reg train. I agree. But I think the public will be on the right side. Velarde shots and goal for the Winnipeg game tonight. All right. Best of luck. We will move on to our next game here, which is a really interesting one, and not a close game when it comes to the odds. We've got the Washington Capitals and the Florida Panthers. Washington plus 180 to plus 180. Florida minus 204 to minus 220. We've got 5.5s, we've got 6s, and we've got 6.5s. So books are all over the place when it comes to the total here, but much closer when it comes to the money line odds here. And this one, how have both of these teams been doing recently? Washington heating up again, 4-1-1 in their last 6 games, going over 6.5 in 4 straight. Florida 6-2 in their last 8, 3 of their last 5 games going under 5.5. How have these teams played against each other? Well, it's been one-sided. Like a lot of the games on today's slate are one-sided. The Panthers have won 8 in a row against this Capitals team. 4 overs, 3 games finished with 6 goals, no low-scoring games. So if you like the over, there's 5.5s there. There's 6s, 6.5s. I don't remember the last time seeing all 3 different books, so that's interesting. Player props here: Ovechkin, a point in 9 straight games for the Capitals, a goal in 7 of his last 9, at least 3 shots on goal in 9 straight. I will not be betting Ovechkin goal because every time I bet Ovechkin goal lately, he doesn't seem to score. The 2 games that he didn't score, I bet him. So I'll be staying off him, but I'll have him on a point in a parlay, most likely. Dylan Strome, 0.5 of his last 6 for the Capitals. For the Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk is most likely out of this game. Have not seen that confirmed yet, but I would assume that he is going to be out. Sam Reinhart, a point in 18 of his last 21. Carter Verhaeghe, a point, 18 of his last 23. But this game is one I'll be mostly staying off of. Everyone on the show should know that I like this Panthers team. As we've seen on former shows, I like them to win the Stanley Cup. So I like this Florida team. And despite the fact that they've dominated Washington, I just don't quite feel good about this spot. Um, you could look at maybe Florida as a parlay piece, but to bet this game, I'd have to take Florida to win by 2, and I'm just not sure that they do that at this point. For them, they don't need to win this game by 2. They just have to find a way to win. So we'll see what happens there. We will jump into the chat. Sprinkled on Rangers, Flyers draw plus 340 on FanDuel. I could see it. I could see it. I do like the Rangers, but Flyers are a scrappy team for sure. Over 5.5, minus 139 on FanDuel. It's cashed in 9 of their last 10 matchups. Yes, it's been a very high scoring game. So to see the 5.5 is very interesting. Florida injuries, Washington value. Exactly. Kachuk and Forsling, obviously a huge offensive piece and a very big defensive piece as well. So that's enough here for me to pump the brakes on Florida for this game at least. But it won't shock me to see them beat up the Capitals because that's what they usually do. We will jump on along to our next game here. No goals in Buffalo Columbus so far, halfway through the first period. If anyone wanted an update there, it is still 0-0. But moving on along, because I know IceX wanted an update. Moving on along to our next game, Boston Bruins and the Vancouver Canucks. Boston, minus 110 to plus 100. Vancouver, minus 110 to minus 110. Sixes everywhere. So books are definitely in agreement with this game between the Bruins and the Canucks. How have these teams been doing recently? Boston 2-2-3 in their last 7. They've gone to overtime in 5 of their last 6 games. This Bruins team has been a draw machine lately. If you've been betting every draw with Boston lately, you've been cashing big. 3 of their last 4 games going over 6.5. The Canucks have lost 4 in a row, and they do not look good either. They do not look good. 2 overs, 1 under, 1 game finished with 6 goals. How these teams played against each other in the past? Well, Boston 5-1-1 in the last 7 games between the teams. 4 of the last 5 going under 5.5. I have to take the Bruins here. This Bruins team, I like the hockey they're playing a lot more. This Canucks team is obviously faltering right now. This Bruins team playing close games, getting games to overtime. Obviously, the draw would be a good look here as well. Haven't pulled the trigger on that, but I like the Bruins here as a dog. Now a pick 'em in most spots. But they've had success against the Canucks. And this Canucks team is in their worst stretch of the season. And not scoring too many goals, not winning too many games here recently. If you really like Florida, look for Washington goalie saves total over. All right. Could we get a 3-leg 1+ point parlay prop at the end of the show? If it isn't too much, nothing too deep, just 3 legs. It looks you like, bro. Thank you either way, brother. No problem. The parlay of the day has been 2 legs, 2 leg point parlays. So it is another 2-leg point parlay for today's parlay of the day, but I can give you an extra third to add on to that, which I will be doing because depending on when people bet it, some of the games may have started. So Flyers, Caps, and Bruins for IceX so far. We agree on the Bruins. Jumping in late. Hey, Terry. Hey, Nick. Hope all is well. And yeah, no problem. I'm jumping in late. For the Bruins right now, Charlie McAvoy, 0.5 of his last 6 games. The same with David Pastrnak, 0.5 of 6. For the Canucks right now, the only player consistent recently has been JT Miller, a goal in 5 of his last 7 games, at least 3 shots on goal in 5 of his last 8. So not really a whole lot of consistency with Vancouver right now. As I said, they're just not playing well. And I'll fade them here. I got busy driving, so couldn't text. Hey, no problem. No problem. Columbus, Russian Machine, Shinnikov, Vornikov, Marshenko are buzzing. All right, not quite the line I wanted to see. I want that top line to be buzzing, but hey, that's okay. Moving on along, and is this my favorite game of the night? It's definitely close. It's definitely up there. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs plus 100 to plus 105, Colorado minus 118 to minus 122, 6.5s right across the board here. As I said, we've got a lot of close games and a lot of really great games, definitely to watch as well. The Leafs have won 6 games in a row, 6 overs, 1 under, 1 game finished with 6 goals. This Leafs offense is firing on all cylinders right now. The Avalanche 3, 4, and 2 in their last 9, 5 of their last 8 games going over 6.5. They've been an over team recently as well. Toronto 8, 0, and 3 in their last 11 trips to Colorado. This Leafs team, Colorado's another home away from home for them. I don't know how that happens, but they love playing in Colorado for whatever reason. 4 of the last 5 games between these teams have gone over 7.5. I do see 6.5s at minus 135. Spoiler alert, tomorrow those 6.5s are not going to be there. Going back here, the 6.5s minus 135s, those are not going to be there tomorrow. We're going to see 7s everywhere, and for a good reason. The Leafs offense, as I said, has been scoring a ton recently. 4 goals in the last 6 games, and 4 of their last 6 games that they've won by at least 3 goals. So this Leafs team is just beating up whoever they face. Colorado coming off the 2-1 loss in Detroit, now back home. They played really well at home all year long. But this Avalanche team has lost 6 of their last 9. This Leafs team on a roll right now. I'll back them as a dog here in a building that they love to play in. I will back the Leafs here. Bobby McMahon's picture is not there. I'm hoping that we get a point prop for him tomorrow. That will be one of my favorite props of the day if we do get that. If they do not post that, I have to take him for a goal again. Didn't score in his last game, but I'll go back to him one more time. When it comes to parlay pieces, Austin Matthews anytime goal. He's got one in 7 of his last 8 games, 10 of his last 11. Matthews just finds the back of the net. He's got at least 3 shots on goal in 12 of his last 13 games. Mitch Marner has a point in 9 straight, 14 of his last 15 games. Marner has been on a roll. Assists in 6 straight games for the Leafs. As I said, Bobby McMahon didn't score in his last game, but has a goal in 4 of his last 6. And I'm looking for his point prop, hopefully. McKinnon, assist in 4 of his last 5, at least 4 shots on goal in 8 of his last 9 games. So he's also shooting the puck a lot. I think we see some fireworks here from McKinnon and Matthews with the Leafs getting the last laugh here in Colorado. Canucks hadn't lost more than 3 games all year up to this point on this streak. When will it stop? Well, who knows? I don't think it stops tomorrow. And yeah, they just are in a rough stretch. It is 1-0 Columbus. So let's go BJs, says IceX. Interesting. I want to see who, you know what, we are live, but I will quickly go and take a look and see if we cashed any props here. Horrible spot for Columbus with their recent, and no, Tommy was right. The Russians, Voronikov, from Marchenko and Provorov. So Doesn't help me yet, but there we go. The Russians, yes, you totally called that. You said they were buzzing. So there we go. Natty, question mark. Leafs and yeah, Colorado. I don't know if Colorado would call the Leafs daddy, but there's maybe another team we'll get to that might call their opponent daddy. But yeah, there we go. Over 6.5. Pass for Ice X. Minus 135 on DK. Can't see how this one goes under, but hey, I'm a square. The only thing I would say to that is nobody thought Detroit, Colorado was going to go under, and it did stay under. But because of that, I like this to go over even more because we didn't see that offense from the Avalanche. So minus 135 for the over. As I said, if you're watching this on Saturday, you probably missed that, most likely. Anyone notice Fanatics bought out PointsBet? No, I didn't know that. Interesting. BJ's for the win. We shall see. We shall see. Veronikov, sorry. No problem. Don't be sorry. But we will jump into another game here. I did mention player props. Yes, I did. Our next game. Toronto partied in Vegas after the win, right? I don't know. I don't know. I hope not, obviously. I hope not. But who knows? Looking at this game, here we have the Vegas Golden Knights heading to Ottawa to face the Senators. Vegas minus 105 to plus 100. Ottawa minus 110 to minus 115. 6.5s right across the board in this game. How these teams doing recently? Vegas has lost 4 of their last 5 games. Now will be without Mark Stone for the foreseeable future. 3 of their last 5 games going over 6.5. Aiden Hill is gone to shit, having a really rough go right now. So maybe he should get the night off, but I said that the last game, and he still didn't. So, well, he eventually got the night off, but not at the beginning. So we'll see what happens here. Ottawa 2-2-1 in their last 5 games. No overs, 3 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals for the Senators. And looking at how these teams have faced each other in the past, Vegas has faced Ottawa 11 times, and they've won 10 of them. 10-1 against Ottawa all time since Vegas joined the NHL. The most recent meetings, 2 overs, 2 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. For me, no single plays here. And honestly, this game will probably be one that I most likely completely pass on. The only prop I really like here is Claude Giroux to get a point. He's done in 7 straight games, 9 of his last 10. Of course, that would have to be a parlay piece, most likely minus 150 or minus 170. So I couldn't play that singly. Nicholas Waugh didn't get a point in his last game. Barbashev and Marchessault did. Those are the only 3 that I would look at for Vegas, but Vegas just not playing well at this point. Tim Stützle has a goal in 3 of his last 4 for the Ottawa Senators. You could look at him in this game, but one I'll probably be staying away from for the most part here. We'll know in the first period in Colorado altitude. Yeah, if they've been partying, we'll know. Gone to shit, to say it bluntly. Yeah, they have. They have. Or yeah, Aiden Hill has. It hasn't been pretty. But going to another game where we've got a kind of like previous games, we've got a team that's hot right now facing a team that's not. We've got the Dallas Stars plus 115 to plus 118. Road Dogs, Carolina minus 125 to minus 135. Home favorite, 6s right across the board. Looks like FanDuel has a 6.5 in this game. I've not checked goalies for a while, but that's because we don't really have any goalies confirmed. Just checking. We've got a couple for games after, but no one for this one. Here, how these teams been doing recently? Dallas, like the Vancouver Canucks, have lost 4 games in a row. 3 of their last 5 games going over 6.5. They've struggled against Ottawa in the past, but still, with the Stars on a 3-game losing streak, you would think that they would come out in their last game and put on a good effort against um, the Ottawa Senators. But I'm bringing it up here. I believe that they had like 10 shots. It was not pretty. 15 shots. They all got outshot 30-15 against the Ottawa Senators. Um, that's horrible to get 15 shots all game when you've lost 3 games in a row. The Stars just not playing well right now. Carolina, they've won 6 of their last 7 games, coming off a big win against the Florida Panthers, where, yes, they got lucky. Yes, I was on Florida, but still, Carolina got lucky with that win, but they still found a way to win. In their most recent games, 1 over, 3 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. For me, it's the Canes here. This team is red hot, and the Dallas Stars are not. Not a good spot for Dallas trying to get right. This is not a good get right spot. However, Dallas has had success against the Canes. 3-0-2 in the last 5 meetings, 3 of the last 4 going to overtime. Could we see overtime in this game? We definitely could in this matchup. 3 overs, 2 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. When it comes to Dallas player props, um, it's tough to find anyone really consistent recently, except for Miro Heiskanen. Heiskanen has a point in 4 straight games for the Stars. I would look at him for Carolina. Marty Necas, a point 5 of 7. Seth Jarvis has a point in 10 of 12 for the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't know how many goals we get in this game. This kind of has the feeling like we could be in for a lower scoring game. The Hurricanes have been just playing lower scoring hockey recently. Isaac likes the Canes on the puck line. He likes them to take care of business. But wouldn't it surprise me here? Wouldn't it surprise me? We'll be betting against the Stars and the Canucks until Monday. Okay, so you think they'll get it going soon? All right. 1-1. Okposo ties it up. There you go. Okposo ties it up. I'll strangle Owen if it goes to overtime. Kidding. LOL. Owen, you may want to lock your doors because if this game goes to overtime, ISX is coming for you. Coming for you. Sprinkle a quarter unit on the draw. I could see that. I have not pulled the trigger on any draws going into this show, but that's probably a good one. This one's probably a good one to add. Moving on along to our next game, and I do like this game a lot, surprisingly, but we've not the Dallas Stars. We've got the Nashville Predators heading to the San Jose to face the San Jose Sharks. Nashville minus 218 to minus 230. San Jose plus 180 to plus 200. Sixes right across the board in this game. How these teams doing recently? Nashville 4-2 in their last 6, starting to turn things around here after a bit of a cold streak there. 5-1-2 to a total of 6 in their last 8, so 5 overs, 1 under, 2 games finished with 6 goals. The Sharks 1-3-1 in their last 5. They do go a little bit hot here for a bit and then go back to being ice cold so far lately. 4 of their last 6 games going under 5.5. How do these teams play against each other? Well, it's extremely one-sided. The Predators 10-0-1 in the last 11 games. This Sharks team calls the Predators daddy for whatever reason. 2 overs, 6 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. And one of my favorite parlay or player props that I'll be looking at here, Tommy Novak. We cashed with him against LA, plus 135 to get a point. He's not going to be plus 135 in this game. I am estimating minus 110 area, most likely here. But as long as it's the right price, I'll be on him. Tommy Novak, a 0.7 of his last 8 games for the Nashville Predators. He's been very consistent for the Preds. A goal in 4 of his last 6 games. Luke Evangelista has a point in 4 of his last 5 playing with Novak. So both of those players doing pretty well right now. San Jose, nobody's consistent right now enough for me for the Sharks. When I was looking at their stats, I saw, Philip Zadina's got 4 points in his last 5 games. He got 2 goals and 2 assists in one game, and then the other 4 games, nothing. So I like players. When I look at player props, if you're new to the show, I like players that are consistent, like Novak. A point in 7 of his last 8 games. He's been consistent. So he's someone that I want to bet on, a player that's doing it over and over and over again here. We'll jump into the chat. Nashville money line, a good parlay piece. I know it's minus 200, but the Preds are fighting for a playoff spot against a team they've dominated. This is just a good spot for the Preds here. Pass. Did I say pass? If I didn't, well, pass. Well, I wonder what Ice X is on in this game. If Canes went and grabbed John Gibson, I think they could make a cup push. Kochetkov has looked really good for them lately. Also, something I forgot to mention that game, the Canes have allowed 5 goals total over their last 4 games. So Kochetkov has been very, very good. If I were the Canes, I would still go and look for that extra offensive piece. I still think they should get offensive depth. I really do. Nashville. Clap. I agree. Novak, Trent, and Evangelista have had a talking to from Coach Bruno. Well, whenever that was, it worked because they've been consistent lately. Tage Thompson has 3 shots on goal already. That's pretty crazy already in the first period. So anyone on Thompson shots are pretty happy right now. It's end of the first period too. There we go. But we'll move on along to our next game, the game that I'll be watching tomorrow night, which is the Minnesota Wild and the Seattle Kraken. The Wild plus 114 to plus 120. Seattle minus 134 to minus 140. Sixes right across the board in this game. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised to see the Kraken. I know minus 135, minus 140 is not that big of a favorite, but I'm kind of surprised to see them at that price here against the Wild in this one. Minnesota, obviously playing tonight against Edmonton. They're 5-1-1 in their last 7 games, trending towards the over. The Kraken 3-0-1 in their last 4, so starting to heat up, it looks like recently. Back-to-back games over 6.5. Minnesota 5-2 all-time against the Kraken. 1 over, 4 unders, 2 games finished with 6 goals. So we usually see lower scoring games when these two teams face each other. For me, I know it's kind of just repeating what I did in the last Kraken game. Jared McCann, over half a point. I don't know what that price is going to be for that. But I got minus 115 last game. I'm assuming we're going to see minus 120, minus 130 for McCann. That's fine as long as it doesn't go past minus 135. Otherwise, it would be a parlay piece for me. But McCann has just been the offense for the Kraken, a point in 12 of his last 13 games. And was minus 115 in his last game. Joey Decord should be starting this game. It was Grubauer in the last one, so I do expect Decord to start here. He has at least 30 saves in 9 of his last 12 games and 14 of his last 19. And a lot of the times, as I've said on previous shows, he cashes in the second period. This Kraken team just allows him to face shots. Maybe he likes to face a lot of shots, but they don't block shots. They just let Decord face them. So Minnesota, I like them to get shots here, and I'll be on McCann over half a point and Decord over on his saves prop. as long as he is starting in the game and as long as it's not like 31 or 32. Should be around 26, 27 and a half. When it comes to the side here, it's really hard to tell here. Obviously, not seeing the Wild game tonight yet. I obviously want to see how they play in that game. They've had success against the Kraken, but this just feels like a Kraken spot, especially if the Wild win the game tonight, as I hope they do. I'm on them. If they win tonight, I think this is a Kraken spot. I really do. So I'll be on McCann point to cord saves prop, and probably be looking at some Wild player props as well tomorrow. But I want to see how tonight's game goes first for that. I'm just hesitant on the young goalies holding strong through multiple playoff series. But yeah, Kochetkov spelled wrong. But yeah, he's looked good. He has lately. Yeah, we'll have to see if we can keep it going. Wild money line. Says Isex. Books don't respect Flower and the Wild being on a back-to-back. I do agree. I do agree that this game isn't priced correctly. Seeing Minnesota plus money, I think this should be a lot closer to minus 110 each way. Maybe minus 120, minus 115 for the Kraken being at home, but I think this game is closer than the books seem to think it is. Here comes the bad part of Minnesota's schedule you were talking about a few weeks ago. Tough West Coast trip. They can beat Vegas with Flower in net. The refs handed the Wild the game against the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, whatever. Do you think this is a good spot for Minnesota to have their legs and energy to generate enough shots? I do not. Maybe not the best spot, but this Kraken team just gives up shots. And I do think the Wild, even on the second night of a back-to-back, will come out strong, at least early. So it's the third period where they might really struggle, in my opinion. Preds Kings moneyline square parlay even on DK. Ducks haven't beaten LA in 7 straight games, and you mentioned the Preds dominance over the Sharks. Yes, we are getting to that Kings game very shortly, but yeah, wouldn't shock me to see that win for you. Blues and Kraken have a trend of losing and winning on the same day. That's why I go Wild. Okay, interesting. Oh, my bad. Only 2 games in no Vegas. Yeah. But we've got 2 more games left. And the next one of the reasons why I do like the Wild tonight, if you missed the Friday night show, is Edmonton faces their biggest rival in the Calgary Flames tomorrow. Calgary plus 164 to plus 165. Edmonton minus 182 to minus 200. 6.5s right across the board in this game. If you're looking for Wild props, I didn't really mention the last game. Check the spreadsheet in the description below. Most likely it'll be Boldy, Kaprizov, and Ek. I don't see anything really changing. Marco Rossi's got a goal in back-to-back games. I didn't mention him on today's show, on the Friday show. So we'll see if he does anything tonight. And if he does score again tonight, 3 games in a row, then I'll be on him against the Kraken. But it'll probably be too late by that point. But it is what it is. This game here, how these teams been playing recently. Calgary 6-3 in their last 9 games. They've not got the message that management wants to tank. Management wants to look to next year, but the Flames continue on fighting. 3 of their last 5 games under 5.5. Edmonton 4-3-1 in their last 8. They obviously playing here Friday night. 5 straight games over 6.5. 7.5, 8.5. We've seen high scoring games for the Oilers recently. Edmonton 8-1 against their biggest rival here in the Flames. 3 of the last 4 games going under 5.5. So we have seen some lower scoring games recently. Usually we see very high scoring games between these 2 teams. Ultimately here, no single plays for me. And this one's really tough. This is one of the toughest games on the slate, in my opinion. Not a good spot for Edmonton, but if they are definitely looking ahead to this game, maybe it's not as bad of a spot for them. But this Flames team is feisty lately. Yes, Edmonton dominates the Flames, but to back them, I'd have to take them in regulation or on the puck line, which I'm not comfortable with. Maybe Edmonton as a parlay piece, Edmonton money line, especially if the Oilers do lose to the Wild tonight. If the Wild lose tonight, then I'll most likely have Edmonton money line in a parlay. I think they come out pissed against the Flames if they do lose tonight. If they win tonight against the Wild, then it's probably going to be a stay off for me um, between these two teams. And I did forget to mention in the last game, or in the previous game, Capo Kakinen for the San Jose Sharks confirmed. And for Minnesota, it'll be Marc-Andre Fleury as Philip Gustafson is playing tonight. And then no confirmed goaltenders here. But with Pickard starting tonight, it should be Stuart Skinner. And then Jacob Markstrom, assuming nothing happens in the trade market. I would assume that he would start here in this game. If I just called his trade, if he gets traded here Friday night, then yes, I'm going to take credit for it. But we'll see. We'll jump on to the final game of the night, which is between the Anaheim Ducks and the LA Kings. Anaheim plus 220 to plus 229. The Kings minus 269 to minus 275. Sixes right across the board in this game. Looking at this one here, Anaheim 2-4 in their last 6 games, 4 overs, 1 under, 1 game finished with 6 goals. The Kings 6-2 in their last 8, 1 over, 3 unders, 1 game finished with 6 goals. As Stop Geo mentioned there earlier, this Kings team has dominated the Ducks, and I was against the Kings on the Preds in the Kings last game because the Preds dominate the Kings. And of course, it's not a lock. I know I shouldn't say the L word, but just because a team dominates them in the past doesn't necessarily mean they're going to continue to. But we do see these domination streaks continue a lot of the time. So it would not surprise me to see the LA Kings win here. They're just a bit too big of favorites here for me in this one. As you can probably tell in previous shows, I don't believe in this Kings team. I've said it previously. I don't believe in them. And I'm not interested in looking at them at minus 275 favorites. Probably closer to minus 300 by the time this game gets played. So most likely I'll be staying away from this last game. Players that are playing well, Frank Vetrano for the Ducks, a 0.8 of his last 9 games. His line mates, Mason McTavish, Troy Terry, both have points in 3 of the last 4. And for the Kings, Adrian Kempe and Anze Kopitar both have points in 4 of their last 5 games for the LA Kings. We'll get to the chat and then we'll talk about the parlay of the day because I have the parlay of the day ready. And it may look a little bit familiar. That we'll see. Ice likes Flames money line. All right. Wild are 9-2 versus Edmonton. Correct. The Wild have the most wins the Wild have against any franchise in their history is against Edmonton. They've played well against the Oilers over the years. Which Oiler earns a power play tonight? Leon, Hyman, Perry. I like goals. I could see two of the 3 getting points. Leon didn't get a point in his last game. Should bounce back here, so I would look at him. Now I have to take the Ducks because I said the word lock. There you go. Kidding. LOL. Yeah. Actually, the final legs of parlays will be Kings money line. Most likely. But we're going to the parlay of the day, and I will add in an extra, or I will mention an extra leg because, yes, I'm doing it. I have to. We are going right back to the same parlay that we cashed on Thursday night. Brandon Hagel, and I know I was going to switch it up, but I really, really like this. Brandon Hagel over half a point. He has done it now, I believe, in 11 straight games. As I said, yes, 11 straight games with a point for Hagel. Patrick Kane, a point in 6 straight games. With the fact that he is playing Chicago the next night, does make me feel a little bit. So that does make me feel a bit, but I like what I've seen from Kane. Yes, it took him right to the last moment to get it for us in the last game, but I like him to get goals in the early game. If you are obviously, let's say, watching this at 1 o'clock tomorrow on Saturday, you can't get Patrick Kane, or if you want a different leg, I would parlay Brandon Hagel with Jared McCann against my Wild. McCann has been a point machine. Most likely, it'll be a decent price. So I would look at him for a point pot. Claude Giroux for Ottawa is a very good look as well. He's been on a big streak. Different range of players. There's really a lot for parlay pieces. So the official parlay for the parlay of the day, we are going back to Hagel and Kane. Odds to be determined. We'll find out tomorrow for that. But that is that is Saturday's show. Thanks, Terry. Good luck the weekend, y'all. Yes, good luck. Hagel and McCann, fire. Yeah, see, Tommy's probably thinking the same thing. Just the way you mentioned with Kane, but I don't think he's going to be. Maybe he is looking ahead to it. Like obviously he's excited or he has emotions going to Chicago, but I don't think that should affect his scoring here on Saturday. But my history with the early Saturday games, I will be sad if that is the leg that doesn't cash. Thanks and best of luck. Yes, thank you everyone for watching. Best of luck on the Saturday slate. As I said previously, I do have a premium play in the Islanders and Tampa Bay game. So you can get that on picksandparlays.net in the description below. Check the Google Doc, which is also in the description below for any of the stats I gave out on today's show if you want to relook at them or to see any additions I add when it comes to player props. They will be highlighted in green. That's how you'll know if it's a single play for me in the Google Doc in the description below. Thank you everyone for watching. Most likely no show on Sunday. I usually do take Sundays off, but we'll probably be back Monday for another episode. Getting Well with Terry and Friends, free NHL picks. Best of luck to everyone on Friday and Saturday bets, and we'll see you on the next show. Best of luck, everyone.